YTBC, what's the deal? Now I know y'all didn't think I was gonna let y'all go without the Joshua versus Dillian Whyte prediction. This is super late. The fight is in, I'm assuming, a few hours here. I'm stateside, so I will be catching this fight on YouTube as soon as it's uploaded. I might try to find something online while it's going on. But anyways, tough prediction. I seen some odds makers. They had this fight as high as Joshua 30-1 favorite. I don't think he's a 30-1 favorite. Maybe 6-1, 5-1, but 30-1 is extremely high, man. It almost makes you, even if you're not a gambler, it makes you just want to put some money on Dillian Whyte just because of the odds. You know, I constantly hear people say that Joshua was a much better fighter than he was when he fought Whyte in the amateurs. You know, well, we can say that Dillian Whyte's a better fighter too. I never hear nobody say that he's also a better fighter. It's almost good versus evil the way Sky Sports has this set up from the programming that I watched. The gloves are off. The fight that Nelson was asking him. It just seems like everything's tilted in Anthony Joshua's favor. But hey, you know, Sky Sports and, you know, they all see something in Joshua. You know, he definitely looks the part. Shouts out to Andrew Sr., known as the boxing librarian. He he actually said he has tree trunk arms, and Joshua is a huge guy. It almost makes me think, is it too much muscle? You know, I know guys like Frank Bruno and some other guys were very muscular. Were very muscular fighters. Mike Weaver, who were some other guys? Vander Holyfield was real cut up and muscular. He was a lot muscular in that second Bow fight. But there's guys that, you know, fight with extreme muscle mass. So, you know, Evander was more lean and muscular, but Joshua just seems very hulked up, man. Like, it's almost too much. Like, he's a heavyweight Andre Berto or Jeff Lacey or something. It just makes me wonder, like, is this too much muscle mass for him? I know he has skill. He's won a gold medal, although some people think that he got a gift through the Olympics. But just guys that big just worry me, man. Not so much that he's a big heavyweight. He's just so muscle bound, and he looks stiff. He looks like he doesn't seem as fluid as I would like a fighter to look. I know he's going through some fights and they want to polish him, but I don't know, man. You know, this is a tough fight to pick. I'm going to go with Anthony Joshua by knockout. But if you look at Whyte, he poses different threats. Defensively, he kind of has the body language of a Kevin Johnson defensively. What I mean by that is fighting with your hands down, you know, using his shoulder, trying to roll with punches, come back with counters, parry a jab and shoot his own jab simultaneously. I mean, he does different things in there. His last fight against Mento, he didn't look all that great. I remember Mento came into the fight wearing a pair of Team Jordans. Whenever I see guys in the ring with tennis shoes on, it just lets you think like, okay, you know, this guy isn't really, you know, he's probably here for a check, man. You're not, top guys aren't coming in a pair of Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Even if their bags got lost, they're going to find another pair of shoes. But it didn't matter what kind of shoes Mento had on that night. He just was overwhelmed. It was pretty much a blown up cruiserweight, really. But Dillian Whyte, you know, he was able to knock out Mazarek, which is a good KO win. Being that I've seen Mazarek in there with some tough guys, is not able to knock him out. The Furies. So him getting a knockout over him is good. There was one knockout that was pretty funny that I seen of Whyte's where he knocked the guy out. Was it Skelton? I forget who it was. And then even Dillian Whyte's looking like, really? Really? Like, you can hear him saying really because he barely even touched the guy. What I will say about this fight is both these guys are going to be in the ring with somebody that wants to fight them, somebody that's very confident, and somebody that expects to win. Although I give Josh credit for a fight like Bakhtov. I think Bakhtov was a very good stoppage. Some people think he's just a bum. You know, we've seen Bakhtov in there with Jajaric Jai. We've seen him, you know, go the distance with some guys. Seen him beat Danny Williams. He has lost to, you know, Char, but he went the distance with Glaskov and Gomez. So, Ustinov. So, that was a good win. The Sprott was a good win for Anthony Joshua. But this is going to be a fight where they're in with guys that want to win. Gary Cornish was a guy that I thought being undefeated, you know, I'm saying that the same things about him that I'm saying about Whyte. Undefeated, strong. But the difference between Cornish and Whyte is Whyte has a point to prove. There's some animosity there. He's already beaten him in the amateurs. That's something I can't sweep under the rug. Now, we've seen instances where guys, you look at Mike Tyson versus Henry Tillman. Tillman beat him twice in the amateurs. Mike came and knocked him out. But there's also times, didn't Tarver beat Jones in the amateurs and then beat him in the pros? There's times where it's vice versa. It's not always a guy beat you in the amateurs, you beat him in the pros. Sometimes guys, shit, Tommy Morrison lost to Ray Mercer in the amateurs, lost to him in the pros. So it goes back and forth. But I want to base everything off of that fight. Both these guys, Joshua has 100% KO percentage. Whyte has 81%. We know Whyte was out for 2 years with the banned substances. Joshua has some legal problems that they never bring up. Not that people even care, but if we're going to talk about how much of a bad guy Dillian Whyte is, we should bring up some of Joshua's dirt. Either way, I don't think the dirt should be brought up, but if we're going to do it to both guys. Just don't, have one guy as a good guy and one guy as a bad guy. I just don't know what I'm watching when I'm watching Anthony Joshua, though. With Dillian Whyte, I kind of know what I'm watching. I think he can get a little bit more polished, but he's more of a final product than Joshua is. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe Joshua gets even better. Or maybe Joshua starts to get hit on the chin and he starts to find a soft place on the canvas to lay down. I don't know. I don't know what I'm watching yet. What I do know I'm watching is a big, strong motherfucker that can knock journeyman level, European title level guys out. But this is going to be a fight where a guy like Paul Butlin is, damn near running away from the beatdown. But I think Whyte is going to give him some of the things that Johnson was able to do. You may say, what the fuck was Johnson able to do? He got steamrolled. But when he was moving, was rolling with punches, those are some of the things that Whyte does that's similar to Johnson, but he has a lot more power. I thought Gary Cornish was going to push Anthony Joshua, but he didn't push Anthony Joshua at all. He got steamrolled in 90 seconds. Even at the presser when they're having a press conference, and Dillian Whyte and Joshua are arguing with each other, and Gary Cornish was just sitting there quietly. Like, he should have. And once I seen him take that role of just sitting there, not saying nothing, letting Whyte and Joshua talk as if, Joshua didn't have to fight Cornish first, I just knew Cornish wasn't going to stand a chance. It's one thing to be a guy that's not boisterous, but when you letting guys just talk over you in the press conference and they're talking about their fight in December and one guy has to fight you the next day, and it just wasn't a good look. So I knew Cornish wasn't going to stand a chance in that fight. I'm going to go with Anthony Joshua. This is hard, man. This is a hard pick just because I don't know what I'm watching. Whyte's undefeated. He's worked at the Crunk. He's worked with Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks needs a win as a trainer. He needs a win. He needs a win. Klitschko was his prized possession. Vlad lost. We need to see what Dillian Whyte has. They've both been in with good guys, good sparring over the last few years. Joshua and Whyte both have been in Klitschko camps, sparred with Hay and Fury in the past. So they're both ready. They're both ready, man. Watch the weigh-in. They're both in shape. They're both ready to go. Joshua seemed a little bit more taller at the weigh-in than he has in press conferences. Maybe it's just me. But I don't know what I'm watching with Joshua, man. He looks kind of stiff to me. He looks so muscle-bound. I don't know how he's going to hold up in the late rounds. Who's to say this goes late? Maybe it goes early. I don't know what to expect. I really don't. But I'm going to go with Anthony Joshua because I think if they get into a slugfest and they try to handle it in the middle of the ring, I think Joshua is coming with a little bit stronger ammo than Dillian Whyte. Both war machines. Joshua just seems to be a different grade. Just my opinion. It's going to be an exciting fight. Whatever happens, whether I'm right or wrong, I'm happy for the heavyweight division, man. Y'all got to be happy right now, boxing fans. You got to be happy. Al Bernstein says Joshua's the best heavyweight prospect he's seen in 30 years. You go 30 years ago, that's what, 1985? So we're talking about Larry Holmes at the end of his run. We're talking about Tyson, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Bo. Big statement, Al Bernstein. That's a big statement. But I was trying to go back and watch Lennox Lewis in his 15th fight and Tyson and all these guys. They're a little bit more polished than Anthony Joshua, but Anthony Joshua is extremely calm. He's extremely calm. He's patient. He's not guy comes out there and runs out of his corner. Either is Dillian Whyte. I'm not counting Dillian Whyte out, but I do not think he's a 25-1, 30-1. I think it's a lot closer than that. It's gonna be bombs away. YTBC. I'm out, man.